So, consecutive day 1006, the diary of a runpreneur. And today I want to talk to you about, when you have a bad day, is it just another bad day at the office? So please do give us a subscribe, share, like and comment, as the more people we get in front of, the more money we raise on my fundraising mission to save the lives of children by attempting the ultimate ultramarathon. All the information about the challenge and how you can get involved is in the link in the comments below. Thank you as always, and let's get started. So, consecutive day 1006 of a diary of a runpreneur. And today's topic is, when you have a really bad day, is it just another bad day at the office? And what I mean by that is I'm playing it down a little bit. And the reason I'm playing it down a little bit, a phrase that I've used very much so these last few weeks, in one of my mentors of old Mark Homer, once said to me, when you get really good news, it's probably not that good news. It's great, celebrate it, but it's probably not as good as you think it is. But conversely, the same goes for bad news. When you get really bad news, it's probably not quite as bad as you really think it is. It might be bad, you might have to deal with it, but it's probably not as bad as you truly believe it to be. And that's kind of sums up, well, hopefully that sums up today's events. And I've been talking this week about a fairly important council tax appeal meeting I had to attend due to questioning of council tax liability. Now, I've talked a little bit about this. I'm not going to go into too much minutiae, but ultimately, historically, I was an HMO landlord where I would always be liable for council tax as per the law. Over the past few years, we've gradually transitioned back to single tenancy properties, usually where kind of two tenants reside on a joint tenancy agreement. They're jointly and severally liable for the council tax within the property. And over the past number of years, there's this ongoing dispute with the council who's liable, because the council look at it, they try and keep me liable for as long as possible because they get their full allocation of council tax paid, whereas if it's a social tenant or a vulnerable tenant, generally speaking, with the discounts available to them, they may only collect 25 to 30% of the total council tax bill. So, clearly the council have a vested interest in trying to keep me liable as long as possible, but clearly if it's a single tenancy with no more than two tenants on that tenancy agreement, then providing documentation is all there and correct, the tenants are liable by law. Now, the issue arises when you start putting contracts and paperwork and agreements and tenancy agreements, etc. in place, and especially when tenancy agreements have changed during the course of a tenancy. So we've basically gone through spells where tenants would have had their individual tenancy agreement for renting a room in a house, and then they've then been transferred onto pass this first 1 second. And they've then been transferred onto a new tenancy agreement where they're jointly and severally liable for council tax with another tenant. So you've got all these different stakeholders involved now, and basically loads of the tenants are trying to get out of paying their council tax, stipulating that they haven't agreed to the new tenancy arrangements. Now, they have, because we've sat down and spoke to every single one of them. However, where we missed a trick, or missed what we should have done, we should have got it all in writing and signed, and then it would have been unquestionable. But as it comes down to, it's very much down to a question of their word against ours, and that's never a nice place to be. Just bear with me a second. So it was horrendous. It was a 3-hour meeting with kind of council enforcement people trying to, scrutinise every piece of paperwork, every single date, every single tenant, to try and pass as much liability onto me, and even questioning the integrity of the documentation that's been submitted, which is pretty scary stuff, especially when it's to do with government funds, i.e. collection of council tax. And my conscience is absolutely clear from an integrity perspective and what we did. However, had I had a single contract in place between myself and the tenants confirming their acceptance of this change, it would have solved all of this. So more to the story as of yesterday was never underestimate, always periodically scrutinise your legal contracts within your business. Is there anything missing? Is there anything that needs to be added? And add it proactively, because the time you need it is the time when it's too late. And hopefully it's not too late, but there are, worst case scenario, I could be prosecuted. And if, as a means of trying to avoid council tax or council tax avoidance, which is a massively illegal issue, and I could be prosecuted. I could have a criminal prosecution here. Now, hopefully, that is absolute worst case scenario, and hopefully, people will see the truth and understand, and it should all be sorted out correctly. But I'm in this position now where I genuinely run that risk, so it's pretty scary. And then to add salt to the wound, it's not a really bad one. Is my daughter had her eyes tested and she's had to have glasses, and she's super stoked about it and she's really excited to have it. But I can't help but feel a 10-year-old girl shouldn't be wearing glasses, and then you're questioning how much screen usage they're all having, and it just feels like a kind of deflating when that type of news comes forward. So today I'm going to try and apply that quote that if you get good news, it's probably not that good. If you get bad news, it's probably not that bad. And I'm trying to just say, it's just another bad day at the office today. We dust ourselves down, we clear the emotional stress, we gain clarity, and we move forwards. And that's how I'm trying to treat it. But it does feel a little bit bigger than that. But again, going back to that quote, the amplification of our emotions can often create a fog around the kind of vision ahead and the journey ahead. So I'm hopefully processing things correctly, and hopefully we'll get the right outcome. I should find out in a couple of weeks. So fingers crossed it all goes to plan. But on a secondary piece of news is in fact, I'm not going to talk about that today. It's much better news, but I'll talk about that on tomorrow's episode. So moral to the story is even when you're facing what may feel like extreme adversity, just put it down to just another bad day at the office, and we have them from time to time. Let's process accordingly, let's dust ourselves down, and let's go again, and hope that if we take the right steps and we're proactive about our approach moving forward, things will all work themselves out for the best in the long run. So anyway, that's it for me today. Questions or comments, drop me a line, I'll respond to everyone. Please do remember to give this a subscribe, share, like and comment, as the more people we get in front of, the more money we raise on my fundraising mission to save the lives of children by attempting the ultimate ultramarathon. All the information about the challenge and how you can get involved is in the link in the comments below. Thank you as always, stay positive, stay happy, hard as it is sometimes. I'll see you again tomorrow.